Good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Balancing Act. We're so glad you joined us this morning. I'm Julie Moran.
And I'm Olga Diabetic. Today, we continue our special series on rehabilitation hospitals as I head back to Health South, a great place, Julie. They provide important services to patients who have been in an acute care hospital, recovering maybe from an injury or illness, but they're not ready to go home yet.
And speaking of injury, we've got the story of survival from one courageous young man and new technology that helped him get back on his feet.
This is a great show.
Yeah, it is.
Lots of hope here. The Balancing Act starts right now.
Advancements in medical technology continue to help improve all of our lives. And today we're focusing at the forefront of wound healing, dramatic new ways to improve long-term recovery. And joining me is Dr. Mark Robbins, an emergency care provider and specialist in wound and hyperbaric medicine from Salt Lake City, Utah, and Marty Smithson, a college student with his amazing survival story. I just want to welcome you both. Thank you for being here. And Marty, I want to get right to you.
All right.
This is a pretty amazing story. You and some buddies thought you'd just take a little hike in January in the Utah mountains and just take me from there. What happened?
It was a crazy day. So it was just a warm day, so I wasn't really dressed for snow hiking at all.
Right.
And we went up and it just kind of we got stuck in a bad situation, and we eventually got to the sign, and it said it was like 3.5 miles to keep going forward down the snowy trail. The snow just got so cold I couldn't feel my feet. It was ridiculous. My shins got so scraped up just from trudging through the snow. And actually, we found this fire, this couple was camping like a mile from the end. They let me go and warm up my feet.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Where's your left shoe?" And I didn't even realize it, but I lost my shoe 2 miles before that. And my feet were so cold.
You're walking through the snow without a shoe. You probably started out down below near BYU in 60-degree weather.
Yep.
How cold is it now?
It was like 20 degrees.
So they let you warm up by the fire. You continued walking, though, right down to the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah, they tried to carry me at first because my left foot was really bad. My right foot, for some reason, they had one extra clean sock, so I was able to help my right foot, but my left foot was still in pretty bad shape. So they tried to carry me, and that just wasn't working. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna have to tough through this, put my frozen foot back in my frozen shoe.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
finish the hike, get to a car. We called a friend because we finally got cell service.
Doctor, I have to turn to you. I mean, when you saw him, and you made that, initial assessment of him, did you think he could have a full recovery? What were your thoughts when you saw him?
The thing he forgot to tell you here is he was wearing shorts and tennis shoes in this weather.
My gosh.
So what we saw were two distinctly different type of wounds. The first one was the frostbite of his toes and the bottom of his foot, but the more dramatic appearance was the front of his shins.
Right.
I mean, each step that he took, the ice crystals served as kind of a abrasive, like a sandpaper that just chewed up his legs. So by the time he saw me, he really had lost an entire layer of skin on the front of both of his shins.
Now, there's a new product out here called DermaPure. Is that how this comes into play with Marty? I mean, you knew about this product and you said he needs this.
Well, the center portion of each shin was so deep it was down to muscle tissue. So basically we needed to have something to cover it with, and the options were skin grafts or this new product that we had heard about, so we gave this a try.
And you're going to tell me it worked, right?
It worked great. He grew new skin over the area and had a remarkable recovery on that.
Doctor, was DermaPure initially created for diabetes patients who sometimes lose, a toe or have problems with skin ulcers?
Well, let me tell you about diabetics. They are fast becoming probably the most common disorder in America today, and it involves loss of circulation. And the area affected the most is the feet, ankles and feet below. So quite often, in fact, about 20% of these are going to lose enough circulation in their feet that they develop spontaneous ulcers or wounds in the feet that just don't heal. And eventually, if they're not treated aggressively or recognized right off the bat, they may progress to amputations, frequently do. So some of the newest products in wound care today involve what we call skin substitutes, or developing skin substitutes so that we don't have to use the traditional skin grafts. So the developments come mostly from that side of the market.
Got it.
But we can use it on just about any situation where we'd need to use a skin graft.
So doctor, tell me how Dermapure works.
It's actually a donated skin tissue from the makers of Dermapure. Tissue Regenics has developed a technique to remove the parts of the cells that will create an allergic reaction to the host, and leaves us with just the matrix, or the substances of the cell that are most important for wound healing, such as the collagen, and it creates basically a scaffold that allows the new tissue, the regenerating tissue, to cross over and regenerate within that substance.
And when we come back, we'll hear more about Marty's story and how modern medicine and great doctors are truly working miracles. Stay with us. We're back and we're speaking with Dr. Mark Robbins, specialist in wound and hyperbaric medicine from Salt Lake City, Utah, and Marty Smithson, a frostbite survivor. And Marty, after this whole incident, did you ever think, knowing how badly damaged your feet and your shins were, that a product like Dermacure and meeting this doctor could help you to a full recovery?
That was pretty crazy. There was like a big hole in my shins. They're all red. I couldn't feel my left foot at all.
And you told me during the break that the people following you could only find you by your bloody trail in the snow. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, I had to keep pushing down that mountain because if I wouldn't have, something worse could have happened.
Absolutely. And doctor, when you saw him, I mean, did you really think that you could, using a product like Dermapure, actually bring him to a full recovery?
Well, it is a tissue product. It is skin tissue. I had several experiences with it that were very positive at the time. So yeah, we thought this would be a very good trial for.
Well, doctor, any closing thoughts just about, I mean, this product is for patients with diabetes, it's for adventurers. Just closing thoughts on this.
Well, adventurers, I'd recommend being well prepared for the elements at all times, even if it's a nice warm day. But that kind of goes without being said, and I think Marty could attest to that too.
Yeah, for sure.
For diabetics, I think the most important thing we can recommend here is daily foot care, daily foot checks. Even a small callus that looks like it's developing, go see your physician, because the earlier we can treat these, the better successes we have.
Well, thank you both for being in the studio today. Amazing story, I mean, and a happy ending, thankfully.
Yeah.
All right, and if you'd like additional information on this segment or other issues related to diabetes and wound care, visit us at thebalancingact.com or go hypersocial, log on to Facebook /The Balancing Act fans.
Our Health Matters series on inpatient rehabilitation continues this morning with part 3. In fact, once again, I am on location at Health South, one of the premier inpatient rehabilitation hospitals in the country with over 100 hospitals nationwide. And I'm joined once again by Dr. Dexanne Clowen, Health South's Chief Medical Officer, and Dr. Cheryl Miller, National Director of Therapy Operations. Ladies, we've talked so much about Health South in the last 2 segments, and today I kind of want to touch upon what someone can expect if maybe they or a loved one has to come here. So, Dr. Clowen, let me start with you. How does the process of being admitted start in the hospital?
Typically, a patient before coming to us is already in an acute care hospital in the community. Perhaps they've had a stroke, been in a serious accident, had a brain injury, amputation, any kind of serious thing that leaves them unable to do their daily functions. So the physician at their hospital might refer them and say, you're going to need post-acute care, more care after the acute care hospital rehabilitation. And remember, I mentioned to you and your viewers, it's important to distinguish between a rehab hospital and a rehab center. So people who have complex needs, who want intensive therapy, who really need help to get back to their daily living, we believe a rehab hospital is the right place to come.
So Dr. Miller, when they get here, this may seem like a little silly here, but what personal items can they bring?
Well, I think the important thing is that they bring, first of all, the things that are going to make them feel comfortable, like from home. And it's different for each person. Sometimes it's the clothes they wear, but what's really important is that they bring things that they can use to participate in our therapies. We want them to bring regular clothes to get it dressed into. We want them to wear safe shoes because we're going to get them up and walking, hopefully. We want them to bring anything that they're going to need to participate in therapy and receive their care.
It's very hard work when you find yourself with such a disability that you need rehabilitation care. The patients themselves are going to have to work hard as well as the therapy team helping them. Sometimes when people come, they're really at a very low point in their life. It takes a lot of encouragement to get them going.
And when they get here and they've arrived with their bags and their personal items and their pictures and they're ready to go, how do you decide what that treatment will be for that person?
A physician oversees the care here. It's a hospital, and they're going to be seen regularly by a physician. And then the physician also would make determinations about the types of therapy and would call in therapists and work collaboratively with therapists to design a program that would be specific to that patient.
What are some of the specific therapies that a patient can expect when they get here?
So the typical therapy that patients would receive here at Health South include the first, of course, is physical therapy. Physical therapy is working on the patient's mobility again. So their ability to walk and get into the car and get into the bathroom, just be able to move around again. In many environments, they work on strength, coordination, range of motion, endurance, but in this environment, we're really concerned with mobility at home again. The second one is occupational therapy. That is a therapy that's really aimed at using meaningful occupations in their therapy. So we try to interject in the therapy sessions things that were important to the patient. So if prior to coming to us they enjoyed, knitting or cooking or cleaning, not many of us enjoy that, but if they enjoy those types of activities, we want to use those activities in the therapy. The third common therapy that they're going to get would be speech therapy, and this is very much based on their individual impairment. So if they have difficulty communicating or they have impaired thinking or cognition, we call it, then they might get some speech therapy as well.
And I've come to know this place very well, and I was actually able to see another kind of therapy, which was so sweet to see. It's a pet therapy. Tell me about that, Dr. Miller.
Well, there's many adjuncts we want to provide to our patients' experience, and pets are such a big part of our lives that engaging with the pet is a very warm and fun experience for patients, and sometimes it makes them perform they'll do things with the pet they wouldn't normally do.
Thank you so much for sharing Molly with us. Doctor, how does technology also play a role here?
We use very sophisticated equipment and we use very basic equipment. So sometimes it could be as basic as using a ball or weights. Sometimes it could be as sophisticated as using robotic gait training, where you actually have a machine that can assist a patient, support their body weight, help them walk on a treadmill with robotic arms attached to their legs to help them walk.
But I think it's also important to understand that technology is an adjunct to the services we provide. So having a competent therapist that can use the technologies is an important part of adding technology into our setting.
Great staff, great technology, and Molly is great. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you again for part 4.
Perfect.
And a website again for our viewers?
HealthSouth.com.
HealthSouth.com. Thank you, ladies. And if you'd like to learn more about Health South or anything related to this segment, go to our website. It's thebalancingact.com, thebalancingact.com.
It's everyday gourmet time, and today on the menu, quick and easy dinner solutions with no mess. And it all starts with Marachon ramen noodle bowls. Today we're adding a southwestern flair to this Oriental classic American families love.
I'm in the mood for a fun and easy dinner tonight. How do Marachon bowls sound, everybody?
Perfect. How about spicy chicken for me?
And what flavor do you kids want?
Beef. Beef for me too.
Awesome, perfect.
With several flavors to choose from, it's easy to make a dinner everyone will love with no mess. And talk about an easy cleanup. Tonight we're eating right out of the noodle bowls.
I'm gonna add some avocado, cilantro, and chopped tomatoes for a Southwestern theme. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sure does.
Great.
To prepare, unwrap each bowl and peel the lid back halfway. Remove both flavor packets.
Jessica, could you please add water to the bowls? Add flavor packet number 1 first, and then add water to the fill line.
While the bowls are cooking, thinly slice some avocado. Finally, chop some cilantro. You don't need much. A little goes a long way. Then, dice a tomato. When the bowls are done, add flavor packet number 2 and stir. Top with your tomatoes, avocado, and cilantro. Serve with your favorite bread and enjoy.
That was delicious.
It was, Mom. Thanks.
And the best part is, no fighting about whose turn it is to clean up.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see, I was counting and it looks like all they had to clean up was a little bit of silverware and a cutting board. Wow, that is my kind of cleanup. Head to Marichon.com for more great ideas, and you can find Marichon ramen noodles in the soup aisle of your local supermarket. Don't forget to check out our website as well, thebalancingact.com.
Thanks so much for waking up with us today.
Absolutely, and be sure to check out our website, thebalancingact.com. Lots more info there for you.
And don't forget about Facebook and Twitter. Look us up there.
All right, and we'll see you again next time. Remember, though, find your balance. So long, everybody.